Hello summoners, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to talk about the suicide masteries and how much impact they have on the actual gameplay and the damage. So I've made a lot of damage comparison videos. I usually compare two different characters who are similar like in terms of damage output and stuff, and we see who finishes these fights first. The mastery setup is the same, they have no synergies or the same synergies or something like that. So but I recently made a video where I compared Nick Fury with deep wounds and without deep wounds, and people really liked that, so I decided to do something similar with suicide masteries. Now suicide masteries, they boost your attack by a lot, so going in you should be aware that with suicide it will definitely be faster, but the question is how much faster. And to be honest, that is not the only thing that would make you want to get suicide masteries. Like earlier in the game, 2 3 4 years back, suicide masteries, they were for mainly just for arena grinders, because you do more damage, you finish the arena fights quickly, and hence you are able to put more number of points and stuff like that. They were also great for stuff like legends run, they still are. But now we have these, like back in the day, a suicide friendly character was a character who had at least one immunity, maybe two immunities, maybe some regeneration. But now we have characters who synergizes just really well with suicide masteries, and if you're not running them, then you can't really play them at their max potential. So I say, like, we have four characters, and whenever someone asks me if they should invest in suicide masteries, I ask them if they have any of these four, then they should. Otherwise, probably just stay away from them. So those four characters, in my opinion, are Ghost, Clairvoyant, Corvus Glaive, and Omega Red. Now, there are just a lot of abilities. Like with Corvus Glaive, you want to finish the fights with your initial set of charges. If you don't, it's not like the end of the world. Some people just give up after they run out of glaive charges, but you can always wait for them to come back and everything. But my point is, like, if you have a 565 Corvus Glaive and you're using him deep in Act 6, like in 6.3, 6.4, you're already going to have problems with him and his charges and stuff against those big health pools. And if you're not even running suicide masteries, then it's going to be a bad experience basically. So that's my basic point. And with Clairvoyant, like, you have the regeneration, which is directly proportional to the damage that you are dealing. So you can just basically be immune to both bleed and poison, and you can regenerate more than the recoil damage. And like, in fact, she's just way better with suicide masteries than without. So we have characters like that. But now coming to what they are and stuff like that, because some people, I imagine, would not even know what the suicide masteries are. So basically, in the offensive mastery tree, they are a bunch of masteries in the upper right corner, starting, I guess it starts with glass cannon, but basically with recoil. Just put 1 point there. So recoil is whenever you launch a special attack, you take 5% damage, which is the reason here Clairvoyant, like with suicide masteries, even though she is already at Captain Marvel, if you look at her health, it's much lower. Now again, usually you just have different play styles when you're running characters with suicide mastery, but because this was a damage comparison, so I stuck with the incinerate phase. Usually when you're playing her with suicide masteries, you will go back to the curse of bleed phase and just regenerate back. So it's not a big deal, the recoil. But with a lot of characters, you don't have the luxury of regeneration, and suicide mastery just kill a lot of great characters like Doctor Doom, Void, characters who rely on the special attacks, who are not immune to bleed or poison. So yeah, do keep that in mind. Now the second thing is, you get a bleed on yourself at the start of every fight. It has a duration, like unlike the poison, which is permanent. But the bleed is called double edge, and it does a lot of damage. Some people like to run coagulate. I do not run coagulate, but you must have willpower if you're running suicide mastery. That is another additional cost. Coagulate is optional, I'd say. It's not a must, but some people like to pick it up. Otherwise, you do take a lot of damage when you're playing a non-bleed immune character at the start of the fight, and the damage increase makes up for it in most cases. sometimes it doesn't. Like in defense, replacing the suicides is not a great idea if you want to play Alliance 4 competitively. And yeah, now coming back to the damage side, here you can see like with Suicide Masteries, Claire has already won, and it's about a 2-minute difference I think, which is pretty big considering we just had these 2 fights. And then there are characters like Ghost, which also benefit a little bit more from Suicide Masteries because they convert the bleed and poison to furies and everything. I mean, that's just for the initial few seconds of the fight, but still in stuff like if you are doing arena, or if you're like just using her to get through master level difficulty with the event quest, then all of that stuff can also make a difference. And yeah, now coming back to the poison, so the liquid courage, so it places a permanent poison on you at the start of the fight, which doesn't do too much damage if you are running max willpower. But at the same time, there are scenarios where you do not want to have debuffs on you at all, like when you're fighting Void, or there are some nodes where if you have debuffs, then the opponent just gains a massive fury, and that could be problematic. So there are scenarios where that could be bad. And then we have characters like very newly buffed Daredevil, who just sucks with suicide because he doesn't regenerate as much with willpower. But overall, Suicide Masteries, they are extremely powerful, and always remember, masteries have permanent value unlike anything else in the game. Like 2-3 years from now, tier 5 CC would be way more common and people won't buy it. Like people will just close the deals with full tier 5 CC crystals, I guess. But masteries will just always stay the same, and that is the reason I would recommend you picking it up if you can. And the gifting event is a great time to do that. But that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, subscribe to the channel, and stay safe. Bye bye.